Hi everyone, I welcome all the divine souls on my YouTube channel, which is Twinflame Realities. So I will share a divine test which I actually failed badly. So I guess I've already talked about this in one of my previous video, that it was me who actually asked divine to take this test, as I went through spiritual awakening in 2020. So I realized that there were a lot of corrections required through me, and I started working on that thing. And that time I was told that there was one particular karmic lesson which I actually repeated even when divine told me to correct that thing. So that time divine told me that this test will definitely happen, because that time I did not correct it properly. So I was aware about it, and when I thought that I have actually learned that karmic lesson and I have strong boundaries in that particular area, so I myself asked divine to take this test. So that test was related to the removal of this particular money block which I had, which I think I shared in my previous video. So I had one particular bad habit of giving money to people whenever they have asked me on the name of help, and every time they have been asking, they have an emergency, so I gave them whatever amount they asked, and that too without even thinking. And because of those situations, I empty my bank accounts many times, and also they never returned that money. So yes, by that time I was actually in this acceptance that this money is not going to be returned because I have given it to the wrong people. But again, that was a lesson which was getting repeated again and again. So divine that time said, we want to give you more money, but you're not ready to receive it because you have this money block because of your one bad habit, and that you have to correct it. So in 2020, when divine told me about this particular money block, I actually put an end to that I would not be giving money to anybody who is in my contact, anybody who I know, be it of family, relative or friends. And the moment I did this, I took this decision and I actually started following up. So I actually saw a huge growth into my finances. So I started receiving more and more growth in my financial area, that too during COVID time where people were losing their job. So I was aware about that, the kind of money block I had. I was earning, but I was not able to save it. And it was not just because of those black magic and other energies issues, it was also because of this particular money block. So when I stopped giving money to those people who kept on, receiving it for so many years from me since I started working. So after COVID, I immediately put an end to this habit, and I thought I have actually learned this lesson. And now, so in 2020, divine told me that, this, okay, so there was another trick, used by those people who kept on receiving money from me on the name of emergency. They started using another trick, they called me, oh, my internet banking is not working. Can you please pay this, transaction for me, like a bill or anything, online transaction, and they will return because they are standing here and there, and they need this urgent help. Okay, I did that, and then this got actually repeated twice or thrice. Then divine told me, you actually repeated this karmic cycle, and there will be a test. So this was again a trick of those people who kept on asking money and receiving it, from me. So when I stopped giving them and I actually denied one after another, they were trying to, take this money on the name of help. So I actually started giving them excuses, but then they found another trick. And because of that trick, this got actually, repeated twice or thrice. So that was the only reason that, this test was supposed to be happen. Then in, I think, 2022, I myself, told to divine that, I have learned this lesson and you can take my test and I'm ready for this. So the moment I said, I have said this thing to today, divine, that you can take my test, and I think tomorrow or day after tomorrow, within 2 days, I all of a sudden, planned a trip that to visit a sacred temple, and which was in hill area, in mountains in my country, which was outstation, and I had, I think, no contact there. So I visited that temple a long time back, close to, I think, 15 years back, because that was my school days. So this was now second visit. So I was aware that it is in hill area and I need to have somebody who can help me there. So I had one friend who was living in USA and working there. So as I was in night shift, so we used to talk, and she said, if you wish to go to that particular place, it was a same place where this temple was. So she said, my family lives there, you can go there, they'll be so happy to see you. So I said, whenever you come to India, then I will come and meet you, and then we will go here and there. So then I remember that she has family there in that place, and then I can call her. So I called her and I told her that I have a plan to visit this particular temple, and it was just all of a sudden. So she said, no worry, I have a immediate relative who can help you out, and that relative is about to relocate in that particular area because of their this professional reasons. And then she connected me with one of her a relative who was a female lady, almost 50 years of age. So we exchanged our phone numbers, and the moment we exchanged our phone numbers, she started kept on calling me and checking, okay, what are your plans and when are you coming so I can book your hotel. And then she kept on calling me one after another by because of any reason. And then I thought maybe she's elder than me, and maybe thinking like a mother that I'm younger person, and she need to be careful that whatever reason. But then I actually sensed several red flags while talking to that lady. But then I was like, no, maybe I'm overthinking, I should not think like this. Maybe she genuinely has this caring nature. So she was not behaving like a mother, she was actually behaving like a grandmother. So I was okay. I had this intention, that there are a lot of red flags, because she was so sweet. And then I thought maybe I should actually ignore, I should not think like this because she's 50s. And then okay, and when I think, okay, so I booked my train tickets, and I told her these are the dates and I'm traveling on to this date. So she said, yeah, okay, I'm gonna book your hotel, and we will also be staying in the same hotel because we have not got the property yet, and as we have to relocate in the city, and we are not able to finalize the property, so you can stay there in the same hotel property. So the day I was traveling through train, she kept on calling me, where have you reached and what time will you reach? So when I was about to reach, that particular area, that, city, she said, can you please wait at the railway station? I will come and pick you up. So I said, no, you don't have to come and pick me up. That I can come, you can give me the hotel address. So she said, no, I will definitely come and pick you up. I said, okay. And then she said, just wait for, 10-15 minutes. I have a business deal of, 3 crores and that is so urgent. So if you can, wait for 10-15 minutes. So I said, okay, no problem, I can definitely wait at at the railway station for 10-15 minutes. And okay. And then when I reached that railway station, she came within 5 minutes. I only had to wait 5 or 10 minutes at the railway station after reaching, not more than that. And I thought the way she was pretending to be a businesswoman who does a lot of transactions like into millions of money. So that's what she was trying to portray. I said, okay, these things doesn't matter for me. But then she kept on highlighting these things. She has these many business deals of 3 crores, 5 crores. I mean, the moment I started talking to her, I don't even remember how many times she said. She said it more than 10-15 times. So as the way she was portraying herself as a businesswoman, and she kept on traveling to that particular city because she has a lot of business deals in that particular area. So I thought she'll be coming through car, as she asked me to wait, and but I saw that she came through an auto rickshaw, and I was like, but then before I think anything about this particular situation, she said her car got damaged or was not working, so she gave it for service. And then I actually believed it may happen, maybe she's talking genuinely, honestly. And then when we were going towards the hotel, she said I left my 3 crores business deal just for you. And I said, you were not supposed to do that, because I could wait or I could come by myself. So she said, no, your friend who is sitting in USA, she's my immediate relative, and I did not want her to make any complaint that you are her friend and I did not take care of you. So I said, okay, no problem, thank you so much that you did that for me, but then you were not supposed to do that. Okay. So while reaching to the hotel, she repeated this statement several times, that I left the business deal of 3 crores just for you. So now by that time, I was in this, assurance within myself that there is something fishy with this lady who is trying to pretend something, and she's not that person actually. No worries. But then as she was a relative of my, good friend, I can say, who was staying in, USA, and that friend is actually really an honest person. She can never be bribed or can never be fooled. But then, and that was another reason that I actually believed her, that she's her, immediate relative. No worries. So we reached to hotel. And okay, so I didn't have to pay anything. She said, you can pay later on, maybe once we come back, or you don't have to pay at all. So I knew what I was thinking. I was traveling at a sacred place, so I actually had to give her money, whatever it was, for hotel or for anything. So okay, no worries. And now, so same day I actually stayed in that hotel, and then next day I had to travel to that particular temple. So she booked a car wherein she asked me to pay the money to that cab driver, because she said that she doesn't have a cash, and her some thing is not working, like maybe the ATM was not there. I thought maybe it's a hill area and this would be a good way that I can pay her money through this way. Okay, I paid, and then again she asked me to pay at particular place, and then wherever we were eating, or wherever we were going. So I almost gave a lot of money during that time, and I was still okay, no worries, this way I will be able to give her money, because she's taking me towards that temple and she came to pick me up. Okay, no worries. And now when I stayed there in that city for 3 days, she helped me a lot, not just to visit that particular temple, also for visiting other sacred places in that particular city. But then within those 3 days, she kept on asking me to pay here and there, and then she will say, like, she said, like, I will do an online transfer to you. I said, okay, no worries. And then now, when 4th day, I think I was returning back to my city, so I said, like, help me out with the same number, I can pay you for that hotel rent as well. So she said, no, you don't have to do that. But then still I convinced her, and I paid her a lot of money for that, whatsoever she had paid. But it was my duty to pay her amount, whatever she has paid for that hotel. So I already gave her a lot of extra money. I thought maybe it should be, because it was a sacred place. So now what has happened, like, when I returned back to my city, she called me, and she said, I'll be visiting your city, and I can come to your place to stay or to visit. So now, by that time, I was aware this lady is not at all a good lady, a selfish person. Also, there's something fishy. So, and I was like, if she comes at my place, she will stay back and she will not go, and she would try to stay for maybe for weeks or for months. I knew that thing, because what I realized, that she didn't had a proper house, though she was traveling here and there and also staying at some relatives' place, but then she didn't had money, or she didn't had place. So I denied her, but then she kept on almost forcing me, no, I actually want to visit your place, and I want to come to your home. And then she gave me one excuse, that I want to eat home cooked meal. So I actually, denied her. I did not let her come to my place, because I knew what kind of a person she is. And like, I gave her these, spiritual reasons that she cannot visit my place and nobody's allowed. Then she said, no, I actually want to eat, home cooked food. So I said, like, we can meet at some, some maybe multiplex there, and or maybe at a restaurant where I can cook and bring the food for you. So then she got convinced, because there was no other option. And one more thing happened, when I was in that particular city where she came and picked me up, that she has extraordinary knowledge of astrology. So she herself asked for my birth detail and started telling me things about through my birth chart, which was completely okay. And I understood that she has good knowledge about astrology, but then completely a fake person. So when I came back to my city, and where she got convinced, okay, I will cook food at my home, and then I will bring outside where she can sit and eat. Okay, and then she again, when I brought that home cooked food, and I was actually, my spirit guides were getting angry, because I'm not supposed to feed any wrong people, because food cooked by me holds divine energies. So they were getting angry. And when I met her, so she said, your face is different today, like, are you angry, are you upset? So I said, no, I think maybe I'm not feeling well. And then I knew what was happening with me, because my spirit guides and ancestors were angry, because why was I doing it? They were forcing me not to do that. But then I said, okay, I will cook it for you. And then she again tried convincing, no, I actually want to visit your place. I said, I've denied you so many times, I don't have to repeat it again and again. So then she understood, okay. And then when I came back to my place, next day she called me, and she said, I actually have a business deal wherein I had to sign a contract, and I had to pay these sort of 1 lakh amount in INR, and 10,000 rupees is less. So can you please transfer that amount to my bank account? I will transfer it to you within 2-3 days. It is so urgent. And I did not think anything, and I said, give me your bank account details. I was on phone with her, and I transferred the money. The moment I transferred, divine said, you failed the test. So divine only, said this when I actually transferred the amount, not before transferring the amount. So divine wanted me to realize this was the same pattern which was repeated in my life for so many years, that everybody used to call me, oh, it's an emergency, can you do this? And I always did this, dirty thing like, oh yeah, you be on phone, I will transfer the money. So when divine said you failed the test, and I said, oh, what have I done now? And I was so angry and upset on me that I did not recognize that this was my divine test. So I actually got angry and upset on myself that, I was not supposed to fail this test, because it was me who asked divine that you can take my test and I'm actually ready. So it's been almost 3 months. I was not able to calm down, myself that, I did this mistake. I failed the divine test, not just did a mistake. And so divine said, it's okay, that you tried well, but then as you have upgraded, you have learned so many karmic lessons, but then this was actually molded. So now there was another lesson that many times, okay, she was in 50s, and the way she was behaving and did things for me when I reached that particular city for visiting that temple, that she definitely helped me. But then this was all pre-planned. Yeah, she will first help me and then she will ask for a lot of help in terms of money. So this kind of person was already existing into my life, in so many ways. So I was actually upset with myself for 3 months for failing this, divine test. So the divine said, it's okay. This test was upgraded. That there are people who understand, like, there are a lot of spiritual gurus who definitely have a lot of, bookish knowledge, be it about astrology or some other particular, divination tool. That doesn't mean that they are really good people, or like as she was in 50s. I said, yes, it was my mistake, because the moment I started talking to her, I recognized there were a lot of, red flags. But then I still tried ignoring it. Maybe I was overthinking. But then somehow after 3 months, I was able to calm down myself. And then I actually had to take another decision. That initially in 2020, when divine told me to, break this pattern related to this money block, that I stopped giving money to people who I knew, like in my family, relatives or friends. So when I failed this divine test, I actually took one more decision. Anybody in my contact, if ask for money, I am not going to give them, no matter what situation they are in. So by taking this decision, I was able to break this, karmic toxic pattern related to money, which was a big money block in my life. And there was one difference between me and other people. They're not able to recognize the true colors of people. But I was actually able to recognize, but the mistake I was doing, that people were asking money that they need it now. And I thought maybe there's some emergency. What if, something bad happens to them? So I should actually help them through money. So that was the reason. And there I took this decision, and fortunately I actually, removed that money block permanently. So I hope that my message is clear, that there are certain types of divine test, and when you are upgrading, your test will also be upgraded. It will be molded in such a way where you can only clear these divine tests when you think before taking any action, when you try to analyze the situation and the person who is asking for this kind of help. So if you have failed the test, this test will definitely be repeated, and this situation was definitely repeated in my life, when I failed this test. So I did not let this repeated, in any circumstances. So it was again, happened in a tricky way, but then I actually cleared the divine test. So you have to recognize the bad habits in your life. If you have any habits related to your finances, as I have already shared several habits what a particular person has in terms of money in my previous video related to money blocks or the removal of money block, and this was how the divine test happened. So always be ready. If you're able to recognize the karmic toxic patterns and cycles and blocks in any area of your life, when you try to break them, there will be a test, and if you fail it, it will get repeated again. So this was about today's video. I will see you in another video. Till then, take good care of yourself. Bye bye.